gorgeous morning like this, how could I resist a bit of e-skate fun? One thing I can tell you, looks warm, it's not. God, this thing climbs hills like a beast. Elon Musk is a bit of a sort of modern day Leonardo da Vinci, or Isambard Kingdom Brunel perhaps would be a better one.
How he will be remembered, isn't it? The thing is, he says a lot of stuff that he's going to do, and actually he does end up doing it though, doesn't he?
Well, landing rockets, yes, he wound up doing that one.
People are very sceptical, and they say, oh, it sounds ridiculous, but actually he does end up doing it, doesn't he?
Quite often, yes. He's a bit of an engineering genius, is our Elon Musk, definitely. I always like to spread the Elon Musk word. I love coming to the beach when it's sunny like this. But you can never predict it. That's the problem with the UK. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always sunny in Devon.
It's written on the side of the road, English Riviera.
See? That's what made it up to
It's fact.
Fact.
Apparently it's the English Riviera.
It is.
They did a competition recently to find out which beach had the best sandcastles.
Wow, cool.
This one won. The thing about Elon Musk, however, I mean, Tesla do battery development, of course they do. Some battery development, but for the most part they're only really interested in what can they buy to put in their cars right now. But nonetheless, even without the massive great big breakthroughs, in the last 20 years we've gone from having quite large chunky phones to really quite high power, high energy density batteries running everything from my car to my skateboard, this camera, my phone, both my watches. Don't ask why I've got two watches, it's a Fitbit thing. I like Fitbit, but it's not a full Android watch, so. Battery chemistries are almost the kind of alchemy of the day, because often they don't really know why a little bit of this or a little bit of that added to the electrolyte stops it degrading or increases power. You know, they have theories. I think Tesla have got something like 50 additives in the basic chemistry of one of their Tesla stroke Panasonic cells. 50. You know, these are just tiny little trace amounts of different chemicals that impede or stop various chemical reactions that they don't want going on in the battery. Right, this board's getting heavy now. It's taken about 36 hours to get there, but the car is almost charged. Fuel tank?
Yeah.
Not the battery?
Yeah.
Why didn't they just put a big battery in there?
Because it's got a big fuel tank in there and it's got an internal combustion engine.
Oh, well, you'd have to get rid of the internal combustion engine too. It's a nice car, it looks good. Weirdly enough, it's actually got quite similar lines to the Model S. Just half the size. Finally fully charged. Only taken the whole weekend. Bye. Bye bye. And that's us packed too. Today we've got a much tighter schedule for getting home because he's got school the next day, Mummy's got work the next day, and I'm going to Nottingham.
What's in Nottingham?
Hopefully some people with Teslas and electric skateboards. It's gonna be great fun. It's work.
Yes, sounds it.
See you again soon. That's alright.
Wow, Dada!
Time for an emergency coffee. And we're doing the journey a little bit differently today. What we're going to do is we're going to drive quicker, which is a relief to Soph because she doesn't seem to like driving slowly. And we're going to charge twice instead of once. So we will stop probably at South Mimms. We're in Bristol at the moment. But we're going to plough down the motorway a bit quicker because that should save us, I don't know, somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour on the journey, which actually tonight is really, really helpful. Got my human fuel. Unfortunately, I can't vlog in the car because I can't turn the music off, otherwise Jasper will wake up. So I'll see you at South Mimms. One quick trip to the toilet later, and hopefully the car will have charged up enough that we can just go home. We're almost there now at South Mimms. Done some serious miles this weekend. I like doing serious miles. Driven a lot quicker this time. This has been sort of national speed limit the whole way. Because I'm going to need my range tomorrow. That's that remembered then. First things first, get Jasper in the house and then I need to unload everything. So the thing today is I managed to make the journey about half an hour quicker by stopping twice to supercharge but driving quicker in each segment. Whereas on the way there, I decided what I was going to do was miss out one of the supercharging stops and just drive slower in order to conserve energy and get to Bristol in one go without it being sort of hair-raisingly close or anything like that. I mean, there were reasons why I did that. South Mimms is relatively close to our house, so the battery would have still been quite full, which means the charge rate would have been very slow anyway, so it seemed to make more sense to plough on slowly to Bristol and then charge up, and by that point I was a bit knackered anyway, so I thought, well, I'll just carry on driving slowly. It's worked well for me so far. Whereas today, and when I say slowly I mean sort of 55, 60, basically either as slow as a truck if there's a truck around, or if there's no trucks around, then as slow as whatever car is going relatively slowly in the slow lane. The idea being, don't particularly want to overtake, just focus on the vehicle in front, stay in lane, try and keep away from all the other vehicles and eat up the miles. And I find driving like that actually doesn't wear you out that much because you don't have a huge amount to do as the driver. It's kind of like, it's not autopilot of course because my car doesn't have autopilot, but I would imagine it's the same sort of level of effort that you have to put in as you should be putting in if you're driving on autopilot, you know, just staying aware of the vehicles around you, but ultimately there's not a huge amount to do. Driving back, however, I was driving at the speed limit the whole way, or as fast as I could when the traffic was a bit heavier, which meant that I had a lot more to do as a driver. We charged in Bristol and we were there for about half an hour, and then we charged at South Mimms and we were there for about 20 minutes, but we did speed limit the whole way, so ultimately it's a good sort of maybe even 40 minutes quicker that way. These superchargers are still spaced with much greater gaps between them, which is why we couldn't just stop at a supercharger in the middle of the M4, in the middle of our journey. If we could have done that, then I would have done that, because then it would have saved us the driving slow bit, basically. That's why lots of superchargers is a good idea. Once you're in that hop from one to another segment, like when I went through France, it didn't really matter if there were superchargers every 50 miles or every 120 miles, because once I got onto that, I would be stopping every 120 miles anyway. But if I'd only been doing one jump and the supercharger was 50 miles away from where I started, it'd be annoying because it would be a slow charge rate, and then I'd probably have to stop again if my destination didn't have charging. I'm going to say goodbye for today because I've got some video to edit and cameras to charge and all the rest of it, and it's quite late as well. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, remember to like it, share it and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and I will see you tomorrow for the next installment of my daily vlog. Bye. Don't you hate it when you forget to say the main point of the day's vlog post when you're actually out and about. Mind you, I suppose I was kind of concentrating on the drive and getting home, and I wonder if I look as tired as I feel.